Hey everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This video is going to be about the 14 signs that you are waking up to reality. And with everything that's going on right now, with 2020 being a mass global conscious shift, energetic shift, I wouldn't blame you for watching this video. So if you feel like the title already resonates with you, go ahead and keep watching, okay? And just an FYI, if I'm looking down, it's because, yes, I have my notes right here. I got like 4 pages I want to share with you, so I'm going to try and knock this out as quick as I can, okay? So, number 1, you no longer feel connected to the people you were once close with, okay? Understand that not everyone evolves at the same pace. So some are only meant to be in our lives for only like a period of time, and I feel like most of us forget that. That's the same thing with events and everything too. It's only meant for a period of time. We're not really meant to hold on to it. We're meant to learn from it. So hold on, give me 1 second. Every relationship, every friendship offers valuable lessons to be learned. If time, because time is an illusion and energy is fluid. If time comes for you to part with this person or this individual group of people, whatever it may be, it's because it means you're moving on to a bigger and better thing in life. And it's not to sound like you're better than everybody. It's just their time was served, your lesson was learned, and it's time to move forward. Number 2, your goals shift. And what I mean by this, when the world no longer satisfies us, we turn within. Depending on how active your ego is, this could be a good thing or this can be a really bad thing, okay? Admit it. We've probably spent most of our lives searching outwardly, which most likely means that we have zero clue what's going on in here. Not in here. Not always think out here, but in here. How do we process these inner emotions or thoughts healthily and non-reactively? And that, my friends, my fellow seekers, is through trial and error. Error. 404. 2020 divided by 5. 404 means error. We're in an awakening right now. We're coming to realize that things are in error right now. So that's why I kept saying to a lot of my friends to look within. I've had many people messaging me, asking me what I think they should do. And in turn, I answer their question with a question, and I say, what do you think you should do? Because after all, it isn't me running your spiritual path. It's you. It's always you. And the quicker you come to learn that these errors exist, the better. Number 3, you feel drawn to solitude and to nature. Okay? Please, whatever you do, don't try to fight that intuitive feeling that you get, to go against your natural inclinations, if that makes any sense. If you feel drawn to solitude to protect your energy, then by all means, do it. Okay? Trust me, you will grow more from that than what you think you're missing out on, because you're not missing out on much, believe me. In fact, we actually need silence and beauty to connect with the spiritual side of ourselves. Only silence can answer our deepest questions And what I mean by that is you're not going to find your answers amidst a crowd full of Slayer fans unless you have some sort of silent epiphany within it. You get what I'm trying to say? Moments of realizations come within silence, is what I'm trying to say. Number 4, your taste in music and movies changes. Everything in the universe is made up of energy. Like goes to like. And if two things are not vibrating together energetically, frequently, they will repel each other. Plain and simple. With a raised consciousness, the things you once resonated with become less attractive, or just not even desired anymore. And that's what we call in the spiritual community a shift, a spiritual shift. Number 5, you feel destined to do greater things in life. From a young age, you most likely know this, and what I gotta say about that is if you feel it, you feel it. Okay? And it's not driven by your ego. It's not driven by a selfish desire. Don't doubt it either. And don't let others make you feel as if it's a far-fetched of you having that pull to be destined to be greater than what you are right now. If anything, you should use that as motivation to pull you closer to your destiny. And also, if we become silent enough, the universe will ultimately guide us towards our destinations. Number 6, the world starts to appear differently and may even chaotically to most of you. From what we were blind to mostly before is becoming a whole lot clearer now. The cycles are becoming clearer, the patterns are becoming clearer, the toxicity is becoming clearer, and then turn, you're just like, what? As we start to retain peace on our spiritual paths individually, our past judgments start to become replaced, with gratitude. It becomes gratitude for one's own gifts and, compassion for those who are less evolved. We see that we are not better than anybody else, and we see that we're honestly just a little bit further on the path, just a little bit ahead. Doesn't mean we're better than anybody, but we set the path and we make it clear for others. That's how I see it. I feel like most of us light workers, healers, empaths, motivational speakers, spiritual awakening coaches, and all that, we tend to be of service to the world, even without even expecting anything back. You just do it naturally. Number 7, you start to ponder exactly the purpose of existence. And I made another video like this on my IGTV video series over there on my Instagram account. I'll list my Instagram account below so that you can go check out my IGTV videos. I have a whole lot little info videos on there. My YouTube videos tend to be a little bit longer, so it's just a given. I feel like I can give more information on here than I can through my IGTV because I feel like it's a little bit more limited. Nevertheless, you start to ponder everything that you thought you knew. You start to question it. And now it's crazy because once you start to set on the spiritual path, you see the polarity of things, okay? You probably, before, you were just probably going through the motions of everything, just trying to get by whatever way you can, and distracting yourself and feeding your selfish desires for your ego so it could feel comfortable, you know? And here are some questions I really want you to ask yourself too. I'm sorry, I'm kind of like smacking on my gum. I had to keep looking down and reading my notes because I feel like I keep going scattered. But these are 2 questions I would like you to ask yourself in this video. Do we as individuals ultimately decide our purpose? Or is it predestined? Is there only individual purpose? Or is it a collective purpose that we all share? I want you to ask yourself that. Number 8. You feel repelled by religious dogmas. This is a big one. You feel repelled by religious dogmas and belief systems, and go within, like I was talking about, what's in here, for answers. True spiritual understanding cannot be required by reading books. Okay? I've known that from a young age. I knew I wasn't going to learn anything just by reading a book. Just by reading some sort of chapter of any book about anything. I knew that things had to be learned, not told to you. So you may be starting to realize that now. And like, honestly, books are good for clarifying your thoughts and for bringing more ease to your anxiety about everything. But we forget to turn within, and that's the funny part about it. The spiritual path isn't about developing more and more belief systems. It's about shedding them. It's about shedding it and releasing what no longer serves you and what the old belief systems were. The true nature of things, honestly, will be revealed to us once we start doing that. Once we start shedding those old skins, the true nature of everything will start to be revealed. Number 9, it's another big one. The hidden motives of others start to become glaringly obvious to you. I said it wrong. That was stupid. The hidden motives of others become glaringly obvious to you. There's no questioning anything, and why? Why is that? Because your intuition's already up here, you know. And when people approach you with things and intentions that are down here, you see that. You're like, I see you. Your third eye's like, I see that. I'm not gonna have any of that. Nope. During the spiritual path, you start to get a sense for what people really mean. And sometimes that's not always fun to figure out. It can be really sad for some people. You know, it can be a really sad experience to figure out people's true intentions. But that's where releasing comes into place. And that's where releasing is essential. When source energy starts to flow through you, when your chakras are starting to be aligned, when you're starting to feel more balanced again, these situations are most likely to come back up. Not because you're doing anything wrong, but it's because I feel that universe is trying to test you. God, source energy, is trying to test you to see how strong your intuition is building up. To see if you're taking these steps seriously. And don't mistake your intuition as a chance to pass judgment onto somebody else. We need to be sure to separate ourselves from that. Because you're bigger than that. Vibrating up here, you don't want to go back down here. Because you passed one judgment on somebody. You got to realize from a monumental perspective that not everybody is at the same level you're at. And somebody else is always going to be right up here above you. And somebody else is going to be right above them. And even if they're down here, somebody is right below them too. Something very crucial to understand. Number 10, you start to become aware of the non-physical energy aspects of life. Beyond what we can see. Okay? It's more about what we see. You know what I mean? So it starts to become, instead of seeing, believing, like that old quota that we're used to hearing, it's more of, it's like backwards. It's like believing is seeing. It's using your intuition. And just remember, just because your thoughts are invisible doesn't give them any less power. I was going to say that differently. We must take a step to taking radical personal responsibility for our experience of life. And remember, all that does, it takes place in a non-physical level, like your thoughts. Okay? Number, I can't do this with my hands, so I just go 11. Imagine, that'd be trippy. I had like an extra pinky sticking out. There's a deeper meaning to reoccurring coincidences, and I have a video about that on my IGTV video series. You've experienced the experiences you've had probably before were just probably a little silly, and you didn't take much of it, and they were actually probably really quirky too. Like, oh, that's funny, how funny, I was just thinking of you, and then you called me, or I was da-da-da-da-da, and then all of a sudden it showed up right in front of me, and I was like, oh, how nice, right? Well, when you start to go onto the spiritual path, you start to realize there's a deeper meaning to these coincidences. And trust me, you aren't going cuckoo. Okay, you're not going cuckoo. This is what we call in the spiritual community synchronicities. Love to love them and love to hate them is what I say. Oh, they can be such a joy, such a great confirmation. At the same time, they can drive you nuts because you're never really sure what they exactly mean. You know? It's just so, I always try to take all this really lighthearted because at the same time, I don't want to get too deep into it and I just set myself up for like expectations or anything like that. So that's why I'm kind of giggling right now because it's like, it's too funny. Really, to me, it's too funny. Number 12, you experience periods of deep sadness and anxiety and stress. And often it's followed by a deep peace or joy. The deep sadness and the depression, without any apparent cause, it might be related to the processing, to the purging of unprocessed emotions and repressed emotions. When we wake up to reality, the mind, the ego, is forced to let go of cherished beliefs and false perceptions. It's as if your mind or your ego is like mourning the loss, which is why you're going through these phases. Also, during this time, if you're ever feeling that way, don't be afraid to seek out professional help. And then, not even just that, it's important to get rest. It's very important to get rest. Because while you're purging, you're using and expelling so much energy, any toxic energy, any low vibrational energy outward from your inner self. That takes a lot of stress on you, and it takes a toll on the physical, the mental, and the spiritual body, the soul. So you need to get rest and stay hydrated, please. Number 13. You feel called to actively spread a positive message in the world. Selfish desire is what makes us miserable and unhappy. But as I've learned to surrender, my desire turns into selflessness. And I've become more compassionate towards others, and I feel that many of you can do the same. Number 14, you start to think about life after death, and this is the last one. Physical death drives most of us to seek awareness, whether it's through a friend, a family member, somebody you're very close to, a mentor, or just something in general that has caused death and a new cycle into your life. You always seek out more, or seek in more, like I was saying. I'm going to contradict myself here. We know the end is coming, but what's beyond that, right? It's not what you've been told to believe. It's not some sort of darkness. It's not some sort of oblivion. Really, when you get in touch with your spiritual side, you start to see that there's a part of you that can never die. There's an eternal existence to you. And like most of the deepest questions, they are resolved through silence and solitude. So spend more time in meditation, and you might just be able to figure out what happens after death before you even get there, honestly. I wish you all the best on your spiritual paths, and I really want to thank you for watching this video. I know it's like already 20 something, 222. It was already 22 minutes and 2 seconds long. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment down below, okay? Leave it a like. And if there's anything you would like to ask me, go ahead and drop a comment down below, okay? You take care of yourselves. And I'll talk to y'all next time. Bye.